Anyway, again, welcome. We have a chapbook of the poems that's going to be for sale. And this is last year's copy. So if you haven't already ordered them, you can contact me. You can email me if you're a poet and you have my information. If not, I'm not sure if we'll get something in the chat. We tried to put all the poems in the chat, but they wouldn't all fit. So that's why there's some of them in there and not others. I would like to just say a couple things about our winners. We have our youngest winners in first grade. We have at least 2 winners in their 80s. And most of our winners this year were in Bellingham, but we have 1 winner that doesn't live in Bellingham, actually. I'm going to show the slideshow that everyone has been waiting for to see the art for your poems. So just a moment, I will do that. Hold on, that is not working. Okay, wait, hold on. Here we go. Okay, you can all see it. Okay. All right. Yay. I know it's so weird when everyone is silent. It's like I'm in an aquarium or something. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to our wonderful MC, Kevin Murphy.
I would like to begin by acknowledging that we gather today on the ancestral homeland of the Coast Salish peoples, who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Please join me in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our Indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and the Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared land and waterways. All right, welcome everyone. And so now I'd like to introduce the judges. The judges this year are Robert Lashley and Elizabeth Vignali. I'm going to read both of their bios and then ask them to each say a few words about the process of judging, which is, think about it, that is a difficult task to judge a contest like this, though an enjoyable one, I'm sure. Robert Lashley, a 2016 Jack Straw Fellow, Artist Trust Fellow, and nominee for a Stranger Genius Award. Robert Lashley has had work published in the Seattle Review of Books, Nailed, Poetry Northwest, McSweeney's, the Cascadia Review, as well as numerous anthologies. His books include the Homeboy Songs, Up South, and The Green River Valley, which will be published next month by Blue Cactus Press. Elizabeth Vignali's poetry collection, House of the Silverfish, was published earlier this year by Unsolicited Press, and she is also the author of 3 chapbooks, the most recent of which is Endangered Animal from Floating Bridge Press in 2019. Her work has appeared in Willow Springs, Cincinnati Review, Mid-American Review, Tinderbox, and elsewhere. Elizabeth produces the Bellingham Kitchen Session reading series, serves as poetry editor of Sweet Tree Review, and she works as an optician. Please welcome our dignified and illustrious judges. First, Robert Lashley.
I will keep it short. It was an honor to read your poems and everyone's poems, but your poems in particular. Thank you for putting in a tremendous amount of work. Thank you for your commitment to craft. Thank you for your humanity. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the sense of community that I read in these poems, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this process. And thank you. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Robert. And now let's hear from Elizabeth.
Yeah, I wrote down just a few thoughts. I'd like to thank the community for trusting us with their words. In a year when so many of us have been isolated, actual human connection has been harder to achieve than ever. And finding community through these powerful lines was such a gift. We received so many outstanding submissions this year. It was incredibly difficult to narrow them down. We were really impressed by the high quality of work. And while only some could be chosen for the awards, in my heart, I carry the words of all the poems that were sent in. It's evident that many of you have used quarantine time in the best way possible, working to connect with others through words and images of nature, loss, family, love, and survival. It was an honor to read your poems, and our poetry community is stronger each time you share your words. Please keep sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, so now it comes time to hear from the poets. We'll have the 10 Walk Award winners read first, and then followed by the 15 Merit Award winners. They'll be reading alphabetically with one minor exception. In the past, the Walk Award winners' poems have been featured at the library out in front of the downtown branch of the public library. And Merit Award winners' poems have been on the buses and maybe other places. It seems like there's some uncertainty about how the poems are going to be honored this year, but at some point, at least the Walk Award poems will be up at the library. Before we get into the poets, though, I'm going to read a poem by Sue Boynton, after whom this contest is named, the inspiration for this contest. And the poem is called Too Busy Growing Up. This business of growing old bothered me once when I was 55, but now at 70 years and 10 plus 5, all fears concerning age are gone, and I'm just glad to be alive. To be alive, to find upon the table of each day a brimming cup of challenge to go on. So I've stopped growing old, too busy growing up. And now, starting off the award-winning poems, Ty Colson with an untitled poem. Welcome, Ty.
Mama made me sun. I love how she handles things, wishing upon stars.
And that was it, a brilliant brief and concise poem. Ty, thank you very much for those lines. It is now my pleasure to introduce my friend David Drummond reading Hunchbacks.
Thank you, Kevin. Good evening. Hunchbacks. We launched where pioneer cabins gathered, glass and resin craft of ancient organic design, hidden ruby-colored bark in their shoreline stance, hangs of strobili and catkins onto a river mirror move, tar paper flaps, spirit bird, and whistle call from eagle, southpaw sluice steerage past woody debris, flood water, a rest on cedar springboard, gray blue feather dreads, trench coat trundle, after scale leg and bare toes. Whisper paddle alerts his golden eye, saber beak stare at yackers. Vanguard sentinel for shaggy squawk flock of Jurassic flyaways. Nooksack nobility flushed from sleepy longhouse hide. Thank you.
David, thank you. Such lush language, beautiful. Next up, we get to hear Marie Eaton read Forgive Me If I Forget.
Thank you, Kevin. Forgive me if I forget. Forgive me if I forget to return your phone call. I have been chasing an elusive melody across guitar strings, subtle and swift as a hummingbird darting through my butterfly bush. Forgive me if I forget to come in from the garden. I've been lured by ripening red tomatoes in my greenhouse and blueberry bushes heavy with fruit, bending boughs to kiss the brown earth. Forgive me if I forget to unload the dishwasher. I have been reading poems, slowly turning pages, reveling in rhyme and a perfect turn of phrase. Forgive me if I forget to lock the front door. I have been tempted by brilliant washes of color across the western sky and the firefly wink of stars as dusk creeps toward night. I may forget, but this forgetting is truest remembering.
Thank you, Marie, beautiful. You're forgiven. And now we get to hear Peyton Eberhardt reading I Got Lost in My Book.
I got lost in my book. My dad calls me. Not right now, I wanted to say. I'm lost. Seated on the couch, I sip my warm tea. Famine, hunger, an ocean seldom crossed. A war, a hero. I turn the pages with excitement. All stories have an end. Perhaps I'll read a book about mages. I'll find a book that wants to be my friend. I search and I search. I cannot find one. Maybe The Lord of the Rings. The Book Thief. The library closes down soon. I'm not done finding my book. I want to yell in grief. I found my soulmate in a time of need. I check out the book and begin to read.
Hey, thank you, Peyton. Beautiful. Good job. Next up, Jory Mickelson, Sweeping.
Hi. Sweeping. Wood floors, but especially stone set surely with concrete, where I antagonize the crevices. I love too the straw, bristles and their yellow throats breaking, their imperfect thousand hollow throats bound into a chorus by red cord. Definite and angry, the motion driving the dirt from everywhere, but especially the unkindnesses or rejections, which can feel like questions about my integrity. Trust every dark thought clean. Let great clouds of dust fly up. Yes, this a cleansing, vigorous and perfect work, and for nothing.
Hey, thank you, Jory. Okay, Maddie Patterson, is she here? Maddie, are you around? Evidently not. So Jay, do you want to read this poem?
Sure. Thanks, Kevin, and thanks, everyone. This is Ode to Dodge Durango by Maddie Peterson. You are not that car you see on all the glamorous ads snuck between the Super Bowl. You are not that car worshipped by the ones with the earth in their eyes. You, piece of grimy mountain man's metal, are the car we'd ride wild, trout and trails. You, muddy-wheeled trail chugger, highland gravel path climber, with all your smoke and smog. You, no sleek, sexy white car could be as worshipped. Your cracks filled with green moss, heavy with pine needles and ripped black leather. You carried our canoe to the sunset and beyond. You carried our laughing bodies across the borders to Utah. You held us like we were your daughters as we sat sprawled on your roof every hot summer day. No, we want you, tender beast. We want your warm dirt on our feet, your lights to guide us down the highway at night, your trunk to carry our tangled fishing poles, your engine humming against my cheek.
All right, thanks. That was Ode to Dodge Durango by Maddie Peterson, read by Jay Nahani. Next up, Timothy Pilgrim, Virus Morning. Timothy, are you with us?
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right. As I said, I'd like to say hi to my friend Glenn Laram, who's a novelist and poet watching from Austin, Texas. So the internet gets everywhere. Virus Morning. I resolved to cease grieving once every trace of her was gone. I donated hats, scarves, skirts, coats, stowed her perfume, rings, Kindle, phone. All spring, gathered strands of hair from sofa, Afghan chair, placed each beside her urn. My plan, heal during summer, bury everything deep beneath aster, cosmos, rose, watch their blossoms sway, final farewell in wind, until fall, when frosts took hold. But as the winter dark set in, I stumbled upon her cache, vinyl gloves, goggles, masks, breathed my grief to light again. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy. Please now lend your ears to Jeanette Lynn Rosebrook, Low Down in the Blues.
Thank you. Low down in the blues. A humpback breeches, exposes the long pale accordion of its belly and splashes down. A companion follows, barnacle-starred flukes fan and slap across the surface. Listen for nocturne and solos, some so low down in the blues you cannot hear them. A silvery calf arches and spirals around its mother like a dervish. With whirling songs, the humpback trio turns and fades into the depths. the diver's surface into the silent coda that follows the passing of friends. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Jeanette. Okay, next up is Noah Shousta, and I think we have her on video.
All right, I spotlighted Jeanette because for some reason she wasn't coming up. And I'm going to have to figure out how to, I might have to unspotlight Jeanette so that other things show up. And I thought it was a brilliant idea to spotlight her. And then I don't know how to unspotlight her. Anybody, let's see.
It's right on her face. There's a little spotlight.
Remove spotlight, I
icon.
just did it.
Did you do it? Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share so we can see Noah's poem. Oh, wrong one. Stop share. Try this again. Okay.
The leaf. It is spring. I poke my head out of my branch and yawn. And now it is summer. I fold my arms out of my cozy bed and spread my arms to take the wind. And then I yawn and fold my arms back down again. Then before I know it, it is fall. I stretch my arms that have turned into wings and lift into the air and flutter to the ground. Then it is cold winter. I huddle on the earth with the other leaves until spring.
All right, that was The Leaf by Noah Shousta. And the last of the Walk Award winners is J.L. Wright, who will be reading Spring Melody.
Inspired by Fall Song by Mary Oliver, Spring Melody. A renewal upon the calendar, days and months, unused, value yet unknown, unripened, unpicked fruits, seeds split by yellow-green life emoting from the ground. Nowhere in particular this year, this then that is now, and above, fresh grass, sweet sod on which to grow, tangible truths, seeds rooted as water comes. I remember time's measure, cheerfully, for when spring spreads out at last, settling into warmth and stays, how life changes, shifting from one poignant vision to another, forever in these eternal fields.
Right, JL, thank you very much. Lovely. Okay, so now we get into the Merit Award winners, and the first one in that alphabetical listing is Riley Anderson, Where I'm From. Welcome, Riley.
Thank you. Where I'm from. I'm from the coral dahlias in full summer bloom, from the Norwex rags and messy room. I'm from the jam-packed garden, kale, radish, lettuce, tomato. I'm from the half-read book that 2 months later I pick back up. The rocky bottoms that once belonged to the Chinook. I'm from the sticky rolls and big smiles. I'm from many years of school that I too would like to pursue. I'm from Gramps who fought in the war and Mama who can still play on the floor. I'm from the mad but not bad, and won't you stay little? I'm from with him I shall fear no evil. I'm from the 4-hour drive through winter wonderland, the sun kisses on our cheeks. I'm from Glendale and 500 square feet. I'm from the Jeep that was stuck in the mud and the cabin complete in a week. I am from wooden slippers and stroopwafel, and 6 in a golf cart, lucky we didn't topple. From the finally, the someday, the never, the forever, and the now. All the moments, all the people, they shape me and make me into who I am.
Riley, thank you very much. Good job. Beautiful poem. Thank you. We get now to hear Margot Barber, Seagull.
Seagull, I walk out of the porta pole, pulling the lunge cart down the noisy ramp. I see a seagull, black-eyed, its feathers beautiful. I walk into the stroll, pulling the lunge cart behind me. I walk out to the schoolyard. I see the seagull again, the same one, black-eyed. I wonder if I will see it again at recess. I do not.
All right, good one, Margot. Thanks a lot. Great reading. Yeah. Okay, now up, Barbara Bloom, On Remembering.
On Remembering. This starts with 2 lines by W.S. Merwin. I listened to you breathing. I wanted to remember the sound of your breath. Still dark out, I wake slowly. Even the cat still sleeps, a warm lump curled into my leg. And having slid into you in the night, I relish the warmth, the familiarity of your flesh against mine, and know the sharp need to hold it in memory. Yes, to memorize it, as the poet I read last night does the morning. So many poems about morning in this book written as he approaches 90, nearly blind, hearing the rain against the broad leaves of some Hawaiian tree, and remembering his childhood in a much different place. Those rains, those trees, those mornings, knowing even memory won't hold them steady against time.
Right. Thank you, Barbara. Always great to hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Lynn Jerry, At the Edge.
At the edge. Dusk moves past the end of a foliage-strewn road that disappears into a woods of leafless trees. Moon, asleep on the bosom of a cloudy sky, is unaware its light is needed to be ready for the narrowing of this by and by. Far into the forest, a white bird radiates brilliant but small spokes of flickering light low in the swaying branches. Dusk has climbed the trees all day, dickering with the rhythm of sun and season. Moonless screeches from the recesses deep in the root mind of the forest trees. Limbs lean, feel the vibration, listen quietly to a sound only an owl would find sweet, as dusk succumbs to the stabbing still of darkness.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. Okay, the next poet is Arden Haines, Closure. Welcome, Arden.
Thank you. Closure. Walking down the driveway, it was sunny that day, to the orchard one last time. I touched the apple and pear branches, whose fruit, now asleep, I would never see. Then in the vineyard, by reflex, tweaking a branch here or there, thinking about the years of pruning. These trees and vines did not exist before me, but they will be here after me. I walked up the barn stairs to the upper level, viewed Mount Baker out the double doors, where I sat on the edge, surveying the farm. A farmer's life is a cycle of seasons. Each one has its list of tasks. This week is tilling, then is seeding, then the long patient days of summer weeding. Harvest comes and the putting up of stores for winter. I lost my farm one July day, just after using up the last quart of tomatoes. You can steal a farm, but you can't remove the farmer's hand who grew it up and loved its vines and branches into being. Thank you.
Thank you, Arden. Welcome next to Sophie Hall, who will read Mudslide.
Mudslide. Climb the steep road to your cousin's house and find yourself moonwalking the runaway truck ramp a few miles down. Swallow rainwater backwash when you forget which exit comes first. Dry out by the field almost as full as the flea market today sign. A calling so concrete you can find all your uncles and grandfathers mixed with old keys in aged Coca-Cola bottles, like syrup and hot sun, overpriced lemonade only sipped in offerings from run-into relatives, green paper spirals on smudged cups. Stop at the mountain spring by the highway, where your mother's father took her before you. Fill up your water bottle at the ground level bar. Gulp gravel from the turnaround. Spin down the mountain, all muddy, because you met Frank Lloyd Wright in a timed essay on the West Coast and came back, so composed, so water bottle aluminum and no longer soda can, after your first year of college to find falling water, a castle on clay, a cool drink on the way home.
All right, thank you, Sophie. Nice work. Well read. Next, we get to hear Callum LaPlant, Winter Day.
Winter day. In the winter, all full of white snow, sits a beautiful pine siskin sitting on the snow. My dog starts barking. I start yelling at my dog. She keeps barking, her tail wagging back and forth. I grab her laser pointer, then I point it at the ground. She's out in a flash, probably faster than you would know, running everywhere the laser goes, back and forth. When she gets distracted, I grab the camera. By the time I do, the pine siskin was away in the beautiful white snowy sky. I look up a bit more, then I see a whole nest of pine siskins sitting right there.
Right, good one. Thanks, Callum. Next up is David M. Laws, Some Assembly Required.
Some assembly required. I know all the better alleys in town, Dad would say, driving his two boys behind stores, scavenging cedar and pine boxes which had borne food, clothing, and all 50s goods. Store clerks cached the crates in alleys. When Dad's Ford station wagon was full, we'd head to our alley, dump the catch over the fence, and head back for more. Then we'd deconstruct, unbending nails into jelly jars, sorting wood by size and type, and stacking it in the shed. We built a million dreams with our wood, our nails. Adults saw rustily fastened heaps of inferior firewood festering in our yard. But younger eyes saw tanks, pirate ships, submarines, race cars, rockets, and robots. Juvenile fantasies fulfilled in well-worn wood. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, David. Really good. Next up is Peyton Ling, Driving Around. Peyton, are you here? You know, there was some doubt about Peyton at the beginning. Was calling once again for Peyton Ling. Is Peyton Ling in the house? Okay, looks like Jay is going to step up to pinch hit here. Driving Around.
Okay, this is Driving Around by Peyton Ling. I am turning up one direction to drown out my car's loud noise as my friends in the backseat argue over the next song, asking, "What's the move?" My mind is focused on the road. I feel trapped in this tiny silver box, going 50 in a 35. I am a map with no destination. We stop to climb trees and bridges. My friends bring me out to dance in the rain, in the middle of the road at midnight. They are beautiful. Back in the car, we're speeding down an empty road, midnight memories blasting out of the speakers. We scream the lyrics till we can't breathe.
Right. Thank you, Peyton Ling, for that poem. Thanks, Jay, for reading. Next up is Phelps McElveen, Interstate C-19, and we have a video of Phelps doing this poem.
I thought I saw Phelps's name pop up, and I just wanted to see if he was here and wanted to read before I put on the video.
No, I will do the video.
Okay, yeah, you sound a little crackly. All right, perfect. I will put the video on.
My name is Phelps McElveen. The title of my poem is Interstate C-19. Empty shelves, empty aisles, empty bins, empty smiles, empty lights, empty stars, empty lots, empty cars, empty buttons, empty panels, empty voices, empty channels, empty highways, empty tanks, empty maps, empty thanks, empty halls, empty stairs, empty windows, empty glare, empty coats, empty shoes, empty drawers, empty rooms, empty diner, empty plate, empty food, empty taste, empty sidewalk, empty doors, empty chairs, empty floors, empty ashtrays, empty cans, empty desktops, empty pads, empty stairs from empty parks, empty souls in empty hearts. Mind may be a cycle insane, empty, full, and empty again. Empty aches till full arrives, grateful smiles when empty dies.
Thank you, Phelps. The next poet is Isabella Nelson, Sunset Sea. Welcome, Isabella.
The sand so white, like a painting in my palm. Trees blowing in the crisp, salty air. Sounds of waves overlapping each other. A ball of yellow light falling beneath the waves. Glowing in hues of orange and pink, shading into blues and blacks. Looking out, you forget every trouble and every worry. Smelling the salty air and feeling the white sand beneath your toes. Hearing the mesmerizing sound of a riptide. So dangerous, but yet so peaceful. Seeing the lights fade in the background, you get up to leave. And you don't care that the stand is stuck to your toes, that the smell of salt has soaked into your hair. You don't care about anything else in the world. When you walked onto that beach, you left behind every worry or care. When you step off that beach, they start coming back, like a flu you never quite got over. But you are tired, and you are in peace. And that peace covers up those worries like a blanket, soothing them into no more than faint memories. For now, you sleep in peace.
All right, thank you for that poem, Isabella. Good one. Next poet is Robert Stern. He'll be reading And From Another Planet.
Thank you, Kevin.
and from another planet. The aliens took along one of their youngsters, landing on Earth in a remote mountain area. Stars sprayed across the sky. Suddenly a train came winding around a steep curve, whistle blowing again and again. The kid was astonished. Look, look, can we make one? No, this is ancient stuff, but I want to drive one. Zona, what have we gotten ourselves into here? Ogun, these people are primitives and know nothing about nothing. Oh, the tracks are gleaming. Are the green and red lights alive? I never wished for anything more.
All right. Thank you, Robert. That was delightful. Tammy Westhoff with Osteo. Welcome, Tammy.
This is another video,
And this is a video.
so I will be sharing that.
Osteo. On nights the sky is a tantrum of texture and tone, I carry your ashes to the bridge. I ocean the hush of traffic, cliff the scaffolding of buildings built for collapse, force clouds into shapes of impossible creatures. I think this is how you'd like to forever. So often the skeleton gets forgotten, eclipsed by organs that bleed or burst, quiver or collapse. A needle in the retina to suspend blindness, a scribble of gristle carved from tissue. I'm guilty of this forgetting. So desperate to tether myself to the trench of your memory, I missed the cathedral of your bones. There's no way of knowing, but sometimes I wonder what part of you I carry. The fissured section of a once fractured jaw, the clavicular cradle of morning after nightmares, or something more sacral, a bone so holy even fire can't ash it.
All right. Thanks to Tammy Westhoff for that poem. Getting toward the end of the list here, just a couple more. Next up, we have Genevieve Whalen with Jacob.
Thank you. I look up to my brother who is tall. I love him in the morning, noon, and night. He sometimes answers the phone when I call. He loves his little sis. He will not fight. My heart leaps because of my big brother. All I want is my brother to come home. My big brother loves me and my mother. I will wait outside for him with my comb. I wipe my tears when I think of my love. I love playing soccer with him and friends. He opens his arms like wings of a dove. If you just come home, it just depends. Please, Jacob, come home because I love you. Please come home because I'm feeling blue.
Genevieve, thank you very much for that reading. Yeah, it really takes some bravery, I've got to say, to read your poems in front of strangers, in front of all these people, to even write a poem. And so that was just a wonderful reading. Thank you. Beautiful poem. The final poet of the evening is Kathleen Bird, Still Life, Geneva Pond.
I make myself in the nature preserve, a home to taste names and silence. Miner's lettuce, stinging nettle, bleeding heart, and hear deet deet of an unseen chickadee and tap 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 of a sapsucker's red head. Geneva is a rename, a claim of place, of salmonberry, heron, of owl. Geneva is a gilded city, a juniper tree, a Euro myth. The trees here hold secrets close and still. Thuja placata. I roll a taxonomy of botany on my tongue. Western red cedar, not cedar after all. At the edge of the pond, I see, not see really, but glimpse what was there and gone. The black eyes of a frog on the surface. I focus to capture a look, a name, but it's already gone, letting go the trace of its being, circling the surface of Geneva Pond.
All right, thanks, Kathleen. And that is the final poem of the evening. So thank you all for showing up here and celebrating poetry. Thanks to the poets for their great work and as I say, the bravery to bring them to the people and to celebrate your creation. We're honored by all of your words, by all of your work. Thank you to the judges for doing a great job. I think we can all agree that they picked some, they picked 25 winners for us this evening. And so thanks to them. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the Sue Boynton Poetry Contest Committee who put in work toward this event and for the contest all year round. I'm just going to read those names. Rachel Mell, Sue Erickson, Carrie Galbraith, Norman Green, Joan Packer, Sandra Dutton, and J.S. Nahani. Thank you for the work that you do. And Rachel, you'll have some details about the chapbooks, right? You'll tell us about those.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll just say that it's my hope that next year at this point in the ceremony, I'm saying, please stick around for snacks. And if you can, help us put away some of the furniture. But that's not happening this year. With any luck, next year we'll all be together in the same physical space and enjoying each other live presence. But this was lovely this evening. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. I'm going to show the slideshow again because it's fun to see the art. And then now that you've heard the poems, to see the art again. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one last time. And then I will just say a few things and we're almost done. If I can remember how to share my screen one last time. I hope too that we'll be at the ferry terminal and then I won't have to deal with the technology. All right. And I just love talking to people in person. Okay, so here it is. All right. Thank you so much. If you're a winner, I'm going to email you a copy of your placard with the art on it. I'm emailing proofs of all the placards tonight. And so you can tell me if we spelled your name wrong or something like that. And then shortly after, hopefully we didn't, but we will print them out and make arrangements to deliver those or arrange pickup. So you can all get them in the coming weeks, and hopefully things will be open and we can have those placards tour the county libraries and on the buses. And yes, they'll definitely be in front of the plaques will be in front of the library. And for the Walk Award winners, we'll probably do that in the fall this year since they went up a little bit later last year. But thank you so much for coming and for your poems, and send poems to us next year, whether you were a winner or if you were just here. And we really hope that we will be able to see you all at the ferry terminal. Good night, everybody. Thank you again for coming. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting, and hopefully I will see you next year in person. All right. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
I guess before we end, we can all like unmute and like clap.
Nerd fest.
Wonderful. Thank you. Congratulations.
Good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you for your wonderful work. Have a good evening.
That was awesome.
Genevieve, are you still there?
Thank you, everyone.
Genevieve there?
Bye. Good night.
Everywhere.
Oh, is Genevieve still there?
Term.
Yes.
I'm not.
You anything.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.